I'm just going to read this article to you, and in case anybody's wondering why I'm doing it this way, it's because I have some screenshots to show you. And in case anybody's wondering, we can read it ourselves. Number one, you have a ScreenFlow watermark in front of you, and I do plan to get rid of it. When I get Snow Leopard, I'll be using the built-in QuickTime screen capture utility. Number two, I have some people on my channel who cannot see very well, so I do them a service by reading the article aloud. And I will include a link to the article in case anybody's interested. But I'm going to have to read this quick because the last time I did this I went over the time limit, so let's get going. My mobile gaming device? An iPod Touch. I'm a Nintendo kind of guy. I love Zelda, my kids and I trade Pokemon like it's going out of style, and our Wii is a family pastime. Nintendo has been part of my existence since the NES, and I have no regrets about that. When the DSi was announced, I was underwhelmed by the new features. The camera was cute, and the voice recording features were gimmicky. Still, the larger screen, the increased processing power, the SD card slot were pretty interesting to me. When Nintendo added an app store, I thought, my kids, have essentially destroyed my DS, and we've got enough credit between my trade-in and some games to basically make it a cheap upgrade, so why not? So I got the DSi on launch day, and I enjoyed it for about a week or two. Then several things happened at the same time, or all about the same time. Nintendo's App Store ended up releasing a staggering one app a week, most of which were cute little utilities that I had no use for. The iTunes App Store started putting out some impressive games in genres that I enjoy, none of which were over $4.99. My wife got hooked on Animal Crossing, and since I had apps to choose from on my iPod Touch, I didn't bother putting Pokemon back in my DSi when I wanted a game fix. What happened is that my iPod Touch has become my mobile gaming platform. I didn't mean for it to happen, and I really wish someone would come out with a physical directional pad for it. But when I think of playing a game now, I play something on my iPod Touch. Here's why. My iPod Touch is my PDA. I always have it with me. I don't have to worry about carrying or losing cartridges. Games with bugs get updated and fixed. I don't have to mess with cumbersome points if an app is a buck, and I spend a buck. If an app is a buck, I spend a buck. Apps go on sale, and I can get a good deal for under a good game for under $4.99. That rocks. Does this make my iPod Touch a perfect mobile gaming platform? Not at all. As I already said, virtual directional pads are an awful thing. The D-pad in Castle of Magic is particularly annoying to me. I keep ground pounding when I want to move left or right. The battery life, particularly since I upgraded to the 3.0 operating system, pales in comparison to my DSi, which pales in comparison to my DS Lite. My first generation iTouch does not have a speaker, so I have to use headphones to get a full experience. I can't resell games, which isn't a problem when games are $2 to $5, but I'd like to be able to unload my copy of Toy Robot Diaries and get some new games like I can with my DSi. At the same time, the benefits overcome the shortcomings. I'd like Nintendo to retake its place as my mobile gaming device of choice, but they need to do two things to start on that path for me. One, for crying out loud, get rid of points. I don't want to spend $10 to buy a $5 application. I want to spend $5 and be done with it. The App Store does it right. When I see an app on sale or a new release that I want, like Civilization Revolution, then I don't need to fish for my credit card. I buy it and I'm done. 2. Turn the tap on the apps already. I have an SD card in my DSi and I'd really love to use it, but your App Store is terrible. Slow, terribly laid out, and there's nothing in it. I should be excited to hit the DSi store every day to see what new apps are out. Instead, I wait until Monday to find out that a new themed calculator has come out. Gee, thanks. Do these two things and Nintendo can take its place back into my heart. But, Nintendo, you'd better move fast, because the App Store is going to bury you if you don't get moving. And I do agree with him. Here are some examples of games. that are very good. Gangster West Coast Hustle. This is by Gameloft. It is a GTA clone, and it's not quite as intense as GTA. It feels tamer, at least the light version does. The full version, I do plan to upgrade to, and we'll just see how things go. But this is a GTA clone, and for those of you wondering, GTA Chinatown Wars is definitely coming to the iPod Touch, and we'll see how it plays out. Zenonia. Zenonia is Gameville's take on The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now, obviously, we have different characters, different world, and different story plot, but the gameplay is the same. You have a sword, you have to take out your enemies, and you have to complete various quests. A directional pad for me hasn't really been a problem, but that's only because my fingers are either smaller than average or about average, and I can see that somebody with bigger fingers, though, having a problem, but I really haven't had too much of a difficulty. I've got a gameplay video up of Zenonia, and the only reason I had a problem with that time is because I was going through the camera, and it was a little bit difficult. But yeah, take on Zelda: A Link to the Past. Very, very nice. Resident Evil Degeneration. I do have a demo of this. I have completed that demo, and I do plan to upgrade to the full version. This is basically a horror shooter type thing, and I enjoyed it. I really did. The graphics are very impressive for the iPod Touch, and I only imagine that they will get better once more developers incorporate the OpenGL in the new version. A virtual control stick for moving around, and it feels very much like something I guess you would see on, I'd say the PS1 or the PS2. Definitely not the PS3. It's not quite up to par, but it's definitely it kicks the DS out to it kicks the DS out to pasture. That I definitely will say. So Resident Evil Degeneration. This game is not out yet, but I have seen the overall presentation for it at the October event. I think this was either by Gameloft or EA. And this is Nova, which is a first-person shooter, but your target in this case is aliens. So I found that pretty interesting. But these are just examples of some of the really nice games that are available for the iPod Touch. And in case anybody's wondering, somebody made a comment on my last video about the iPod Touch versus the PSP Go. Somebody said, "Oh, it's only quick because you're downloading 10 megabytes worth of game." Well, when I downloaded West Coast Hustle, it took about 5 minutes, and somebody said in a review that it was 110 megabytes. So 110 megs in 5 minutes. So that, Anyway, this is just an example of, I think, where the iPod Touch stands, and an analyst even said that it'll probably have a third of the gaming market within the next couple of years, but we'll see how that goes. Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome. Insults against me will get you blocked, and have a nice day.